Hello, good evening to you. With little more than a week to go until polling day, our election roadshow has landed in Brecon. We're here on the canal near the Theatr Breceniog. This market town sits in the middle of the new constituency of Brecon, Radnor and Cwmtawe, a seat that has seen its boundaries redrawn to take in voters in the valleys for the first time. On election night, it is typically a showdown between the Conservatives and the Liberal Democrats for this part of Mid Wales. So in the final week of campaigning, how will those parties and others be trying to gain support and votes? Today, I've been hearing what's important to people spending time here along these historic waterways and asking them what would be on their postcard to the Prime Minister. Rural life is at the heart of this constituency. Its mountains, waterfalls and events like the Royal Welsh bring in thousands of visitors from far and wide. But for people who live here all year round, it's issues like unemployment, mental health support and opportunities for young people which flow through this constituency. As we arrive in Brecon, the stage is well and truly set for a general election. Not long now until we know who will make up the cast of the next government. So with only 8 days to go, what promises would steer voters here one way or another? Or has the ship or boat already sailed for parties to sway those votes?
This election cycle, I haven't seen anyone talking about mental health crisis, mental health support in local areas, crisis support, things like that. So definitely something to do with mental health.
Are there particular people in the community you feel need that help more than others?
Young people. I'm a young person, that would probably be something that I would say, but for everyone, but yeah, specifically young people.
You can pop that postcard through the door then, that would be fabulous, thank you.
The unemployment for the youngsters in the area, I've got two sons who I encourage to move away because there is no jobs in this area for the youngsters.
So trying to create the jobs to keep young people here?
Yeah, because it is, unfortunately, it's an old people's town.
We need more support for the arts and the music here. The scene is fantastic, but you can walk around the theatre and it can be often almost deserted.
Shut our youth clubs. There is absolutely nothing around here for the children to do, and they want to know why there's a rise in antisocial behaviour. They're bored. They're going to act out.
This is your chance to post that card through the box and hope that your wishes are granted at some stage.
Thank you.
At the last general election, the Conservatives held course here, but the new constituency of Brecon, Radnor and Cwmtawe now takes in some traditionally Labour voting areas. But it could also be within the reach of the Liberal Democrats, who are eyeing up a return to the helm come July 4th. Well, that's how things look here. Now let's get a little reminder of the full list of candidates standing in the seat of Brecon, Radnor and Cwmtawe. The list is there on your screens for you now. And as we've been talking about, large parts of this constituency are rural. So how prominent will those issues be in people's minds at this election? Well, to discuss this further is our rural affairs correspondent, Hannah Thomas. Good evening to you, Hannah. So how prominent will these issues be? How prominent are they?
Very, I think, because over the last few weeks, people have been telling me in all parts of rural Wales that they don't think the politicians and the parties have been talking about rural issues nowhere near enough in this general election campaign so far. You will remember that rural issues have been in the spotlight like never before in 2024, with farmers protesting, demonstrating and wanting more political support.
And what are the parties saying then?
Well, it's interesting because, of course, this is probably one of the more rural constituencies in Wales, isn't it? And parties say rural issues are a priority for them. Liberal Democrats have got a rural rescue plan. They want to restore local bus services and put £50 million more in the pockets of Welsh farmers. The Conservatives, they say Labour don't have any commitment to rural Wales. Their manifesto just has 87 words dedicated to the farming sector. Labour say, hang on a minute, we are pledging support for British farmers there with food security is our national security. Plaid Cymru, well, they say they want to protect, preserve and promote the Welsh countryside and have 5 clear pledges for the future of rural Wales. So lots to take in there, Andrea, before we all go to the polls, of course, in what, 8 days' time?
Yeah, it's coming up quickly. It'll be fascinating to see how that all plays out come July the 4th next week. Hannah, thank you. Well, in another development in the election betting scandal, which has dominated the campaign over the past fortnight, a Conservative Senedd member is the latest in the list to be investigated by the Gambling Commission. Well, we can speak to our political editor, Adrian Masters, who's in the newsroom for us this evening with the latest on this. So what have we learnt, Adrian?
Andrew, this is a row that is growing and seems to be likely to continue to do so and possibly bring in further people, implicate further people. Russell George is a Senedd member, so he's not a candidate in this election. He says that he'll cooperate with the Gambling Commission and has stepped back from his frontbench role in the Welsh Parliament, not to be, so he says, a distraction. Now, he shares a constituency with Craig Williams, who is a candidate in this UK general election. He's standing in Montgomeryshire and Glyndŵr, and he had before the election anyway, had a very close working relationship with Rishi Sunak as his closest parliamentary aide. But the Conservative parties have withdrawn their official support from him, which means that if he were to win, he wouldn't be able to sit as a Conservative MP. He'd have to, at least to begin with, be an independent MP. So a strange situation there. I've been asking the parties in Wales if there are any more to come. The Conservatives say no other Senedd members have placed a bet. Labour says that the Gambling Commission have only been in touch about one case, and that's the one I mentioned yesterday. Plaid Cymru says no Senedd members have placed bets. So that's the situation with regard to that scandal. You can see a full list of the candidates in Montgomeryshire and Glyndŵr on the screen now.
Adrian Masters joining us from the newsroom with that update. Thank you very much. Now for a closer look at one of the issues that people have been bringing up over the course of our roadshows, and that's immigration. In the most recent of our exclusive Barn Cymru polls, Welsh voters ranked it as the 3rd most important priority for an incoming government. It's formed a major part of manifestos too, as party leaders give their stance on the controversial topic. Dean Thomas Welch has been taking a closer look at the issue of immigration.
A game of asylum snakes and ladders is being played at a support centre in Swansea. Those playing have fled their country to live in Wales. This is real life and certainly no game. Frew fled his home in Cameroon due to war. He says his family was attacked and claims the government came after him.
My family's house got burned. My parents, I couldn't talk to my parents for a very long time. So I decided to now go back to actually look for them. And when I got to look for them now, I was arrested. It's funny when I hear people say that people decide to come into the immigration system or the asylum system. Nobody decides to get into the system. It's because you're fleeing something, and that's the only option.
For Carlos, political turmoil in Venezuela meant he felt leaving was his only option. With his life in danger, Wales became his home in 2021.
We were threatened, we were beaten, so they tried to, get rid of us. They couldn't, luckily, and yeah, so that's the reason I don't feel really safe coming back. After some year, of course, you realize not everybody is welcoming, and might you want to understand the reasons, but in general, people have been really, really friendly.
The discussion around immigration has been a hot topic this election, particularly in Wales. Well, the latest figures show that net migration in Wales stands at around 22,000. When you compare that to England, admittedly a bigger geographical area, then the net migration figure there is over 500,000. However, immigration is a key issue for people in Wales. Our latest poll found that immigration was the 3rd highest priority for voters here. However, the messaging around this issue couldn't be further apart, with some politicians saying they put a freeze on immigration and others saying that some parts of Wales actually needs more immigration. In Llanelli, there were strong views on the issue of immigration.
We can't cope with our own people. All the services are all blocked up and everything, so what do we do?
There is far too many come over at the moment. If they come over for work, fair enough, but it doesn't seem like they come over for work, so.
My mum came here as an immigrant. Everyone comes into the country and everyone bands together, do you know what I mean, to help make the country better.
I think everybody has such a right to have a chance to live here.
Back at Swansea Asylum Seekers Support, the demand for their services has increased yearly.
Swansea, as a dispersal city, has been receiving people from larger hotels outside of Swansea, outside of Wales, in fact. So there are more people that are coming to use our service, and also word of mouth does its work within Swansea as well, and there are people that hear about us.
As a nation of sanctuary, Wales has been a welcome refuge for many. How that looks in the future may well be decided at the ballot box next month. Dean Thomas Welch, ITV News.
The weather forecast now with Chris Page. And that is goodbye from all of the team here in Brecon. Katie will be here with your late update. Bye-bye.